All right, good evening, or rather, shall I say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're joining me from. It's a few minutes after 7 o'clock in my neck of the woods, and guess what? It's time to connect. All right, so it's great to have everybody joining us on the stream today. Thank you so much for being a part of the connect and everything that we do right here. So I want to just hold on for a few minutes for folks to join in on LinkedIn, on YouTube. We're streaming live on YouTube today, and of course on the blue streets of Facebook. All right. So I want to know if you can hear me clearly, if you can see me, and if you can hear me clearly. Please do send a message. We're going to be kicking off in a little bit, but I trust that everybody is doing well. So this is the time that you have to quickly pick up the link, share this live stream right now to your kids, your kin, your enemies, your frenemies, or like I said, to your real friends. All right, and let them get to be a part of it. All right, it's just going to be an explosive episode. I promise you. It's a recap and continuation of the episode that we had last week, where we started episode 3 of our now very famous and popular series from alignment to impact. All right. So it's great, great, great to have everybody join us today. I'm checking to see that everything is as it should be. All right, we're checking to see that everything is as it should be, and looking to get everybody aboard. So if you're there, send me a message, drop a message for me, send something on whatever platform that you're on. Let me know those on TikTok right now. Let me know those on Facebook right now, and then let me know those on um, LinkedIn right now. Okay, so I'm doing a check on my mobile device to be sure that we're streaming as we should. All right, and just to um, all right, okay, so we're checking. Okay, all right, all right. It seems like everything is going pretty well. It seems like everything is going pretty well. All right. So how you doing? Where you joining us from? It's great to be here. Send out the message and share your contact list. Get everybody to be part of this. It's the third episode of the continuation, the continuance of the third episode of the From Alignment to Impact series. And this is one episode that trust me, it's taking 2 weeks of preparation. So you really don't want to miss this one. So I see we're live on Facebook, I see we're live on LinkedIn, and I see we're live on YouTube as well. All right. Okay. So this is taking like I said, 2 weeks of preparation. We started off the series last week, but we had some technical issue at some point where something went really off with our audio, and it took a few days for us to be able to rectify that. So I want to say thank you to everybody that joined in, and quite a number of people joined in last week. And thank you for the feedback. So we worked on it, and then we are back today. And so we're going to be looking at one of the most important conversations we're having in this series. I'm not saying that all the other episodes are not, but trust me, one, I literally took half of today just to get finishing touches ready for you for this episode. And this is the episode where we talk about purposeful network. Purposeful networks. If you can hear me clearly, do let me know. And then we'll be proceeding in a while. So I trust you had a good week. I trust that your week has been good, and you've been able to, you were able to achieve a lot of things in the course of the week. Whatever issues or struggles or challenges in the course of the week, we're hoping, like what we discuss, will be able to give you a measure of light that rightly prepares you to engage in the new week. All right, in the new week. And so I am looking forward to having you right here. Okay, so we're going to be starting off with discuss for today. Last week we started the third episode of the impact to from alignment to impact series, and the name speaks for itself. From alignment to impact series, and we're talking this week, as we saw last week, about purposeful conversations, and it's very important. I tell people all the time that it's very important that you understand the power of conversations, the power of networking, and all of that, and what exactly it does for people that will serve as the light and voice and the bridge to you, what it does to be able to transport you from the place of despondency and bring you to the place of relevance, what it does to be able to also announce you, to give light to your gifts, light to your talents, light to your business proposals and your initiatives, light to your personal self. And I believe it's a very, very important episode that we are having today. And the sub theme of our episode today is turning conversations into opportunities, into capacities and opportunities, ensuring that you understand just how powerful it is to network, just how powerful it is to come into the place of exchange. Because I say that, look, for life to exist, there has to be value exchange. And every time that there's a failure of exchange, every time that there's a failure of exchange, there's a stifling of life. And I've said that for quite a very stifling of life every time that there is a failure of exchange. And this entire episode is hinged on that premise. All right. One of the things that we said, that we started off saying last week, was that please note that your network as it is either increasing you or is quietly limiting your growth. Your network is either increasing you or is quietly limiting your growth. And it's so important. There's no neutral, there's no in between. And that's why you have to be very careful about, number one, the quality of network that you have, number two, the quality of input that you have, because some spaces will stretch you. And many times, many people fight the stretch that is designed for their growth. All right, note that many times, many people fight the stretch that's designed for their growth. And every time that you fight the stretch that is designed for your growth, you're not going to be able to maximize, or even before we even talk of maximize, you're not going to be able to utilize opportunities and avenues that have been predestined and made available for you and to you. And that's a real problem. We also said that you must understand that some spaces, if they're not stretching you, they will shrink you. There's no in between. They will shrink you, they will limit you, mitigate you, minimize you. And very, very careful the type of conversation. Some conversations will unlock doors. I talked about that extensively last Sunday. Some conversations will unlock doors, will unlock opportunities for you, will make things happen for you. Some conversations will limit your growth. Some conversations will waste momentum. Some conversations will stop you on your track. Some conversations will give people some level of revelation about you that will make them understand the state of your heart and its unwillingness and unpreparedness for what you're asking for. And so you have to be very, very careful, very, very careful when you get into spaces. Not because you're not being authentic, but believed well enough, you have to have coordinated well enough, you have to have structured and to have had a plan, or a strategy and a plan around your networking, around the conversations you have, around the spaces that you're in, that allow you to be points of value, poised to deliver value, and therefore there will be an opening for you. And this is so important because the inability to guard your thoughts and guard your speech, your inability to be able to transfer your ideas, your inability to communicate will kill the brilliant ideas that you have. It will minimize your concerns, your areas of worries, and the things that you want to highlight, just because you lack the maturity, or you lack the responsibility, or you lack the ability to be able to communicate rightly. And it's so absolutely important, because if you're looking from going from alignment to impact, you must ensure that whilst you align certain things as regards your talents, your values, and everything that you have, communicating that alignment is essential to the receptibility of that alignment. That makes it easy for people to come into sync with you. You will go into sync with systems, but the system also must be seen, your synergy. Okay? And then also talked about the fact that we're not talking about networking as an activity. Networking is not an activity. All right. We talked about that. Networking is not an activity. Networking is really about an ecosystem. And that we talk about an ecosystem, right? Every time that we talk about an ecosystem, understand that networking is, before I talk about ecosystem, I remember that one of the things I shared last was that networking is really about strategy. We're not talking of networking as an activity. We're talking of networking as a strategy. You must understand the importance and relevance of the power of conversations and the power of networking. And we talked about the fact that, doing a quick recap of last week, we talked about the fact it was very interesting because you cannot afford to, in some certain spaces, have casual conversations. Your conversations must be catalytic. Your conversations must be catalytic. Catalytic in the sense that they must spur things to happen. There must be a thereafter from the conversations that you have. It must not be the end of it, therefore. It's not going to be casual. It has to be catalytic. So you want to begin to rethink what networking is. You want to begin to rethink what the power of networking, the essence of networking, the attributes of networking, the causal effects of networking, and the impact of the right networking. Remember, we're talking about purposeful conversations. Purposeful conversations. Also, let's move forward. One of the things I want you to realize is that a network is not just a list of contacts. A network is not just a list of contacts. A network is not just about followers. A network is not just about visibility. A network is not just about, it's not just a collection of numbers. A network is an ecosystem. And an ecosystem contains access, it contains opportunity, it contains information, it contains influence, and it contains gatekeepers. I talked about that last week. If you missed it, please go back, get online, find it on Facebook or LinkedIn, able to catch what we discussed last week. A network must deliver access. The right network must deliver opportunities, must deliver information, must deliver influence, must deliver gatekeepers, and of course, deliver all that to you. Very important. So, we also said last week, if I remember very right, just trying to lay the for the rest of the conversation for today. We also said last week that systems will either nourish these things that I've said. The quality determine if these things that I've said, these components of an ecosystem, are nourished or are suffocated. Listen to me, guys. It is so important. Sorry, let me check the comment section. I want to see. Oh, all right. Thank you, Nyagma Isaac Kaplan. Thank you so much. All right, thank you so much. All right. Let me say this, guys. It is so important that if the truth that one of the many things in a network that will determine how far you go in life, how successful your ministry is, how efficient your relationship is, how proficient you are on the job, how well you do, how you thrive, then you must understand that when it comes to access, when it comes to information, when it comes to opportunity, when it comes to influence, when it comes to gatekeepers, the ecosystem pushes or suffocates. I hope somebody is understanding this. I hope this is sinking because this is so important to what you do in life. It is so key to how well you do in life. Right. So here's the question that I have for you. One of the few questions that we'll interrogate in this episode. Are you building a network by design? Or are you drifting into a network by default? Are you building a network by design? Or are you drifting into a network by default? Now, somebody will say, network, not network. But let me explain something to you that is very important. If you're unclear about your direction, your network will be confused about your value. Because one of the things that happens, as I said earlier, is that you're coming into a network. You're part of a network. The essence of life is anchored on the principle of value exchange. value must be exchanged. For me to understand and appreciate the value that you're bringing, I must recognize, appreciate the value that you're unclear. Hear me, we're talking about purposeful conversations. Then the network will be unclear about the value that you're bringing into it. And once the network is unclear about the value that you are bringing to it, it's going to be difficult for there to be efficient and effective value exchange. Do you understand that? So, clarity, therefore, attracts alignment. Somebody write that down. Clarity, therefore, attracts alignment. When you're clear about what the rules are, then there's a tendency that you find the best way to align to it. If you are vague about what expectations are of you, then chances are that you will not be able to meet up with those expectations. If you're unsure about what expectations are of a project or of a business or of your part in a relationship or of an initiative or an endeavor, then it will be a real challenge for the alignment that delivers value to you. So now let's talk about conversations. Let's zero into the theme of this episode, which is purposeful conversations. Let's talk about conversations for a little bit. Every conversation delivers three things. Or is one of three things. Every time that you converse, three things must happen. Number one, he was informed. Number two, he was inspired. Number three, struck. But that's not the theme I'm looking at. Now, every conversation is one of three things. One is informational. Number two is relational. Number three is informational. So every time that I'm coming into contact with someone, and every time I'm meeting with an MDC, or every time I'm meeting with a client, every time you're having a conversation with a partner or with a spouse, every time you're having a conversation with a business, prospect, every time you're having a conversation with a member of your club or your fellowship, every time that you're having a conversation with somebody in your space, the question is it informational? Is it relational? And most importantly, it's transformational. Most people stay informational. Let me give you an example. Most people stay informational. You meet somebody, you walk into a room, you're having a meeting, you say, "How are you? What do you do?" Let's keep in touch. And so that's just information. However, transformational conversations sound very different. Let me check the chat section. Transformational conversations sound very different. Very, very different. Transformational conversations, right? And I need you understanding this, because every single day you're going to meet new clients. Every single day you're going to be having exchange with your partner or your spouse. Every single day you're going to be related to peers or subordinates. Every single day transformational conversations will deliver insights, depth, opportunity, and direction. Transformational conversations will deliver insights, depth, opportunity, and direction. If your conversation is not delivering, if your engagement, hear me guys, if your engagement is not does not have depth, it's a waste of momentum. If your engagement does not deliver insights, then it is shallow, weak, and of non-consequence, and therefore of minimal value. If your conversation or engagement does not deliver opportunity, then chances are there's no need for a second encounter. And if your conversation does not deliver direction, it means I am at miss as to, it is remiss of you, because I will be at miss of what to do next concerning whatever you shared with me. So there must be insights, there must be depth, there must be opportunity, and there must be direction. Somebody please write that down. There must be insight, there must be depth, there must be opportunity, and then there must be depth. I need that written down. I need that written down. Note that. Please write that down. Put it in the comment section. The shift comes in. This is where the transformation really happens. Before entering a conversation, I want you to do a few things. I want you to ask yourself, what value can I contribute? What value can I contribute? What different one and unique perspective and advantageous perspective can I deliver? Or can I offer? And then finally, I want to ask yourself, what clarity can I create? So when I'm dealing with clients, hear me guys, when I'm dealing with clients, I'm saying to myself, what clarity can I offer to them? What perspective outside, excuse me, outside of what they already have, what perspective can I offer them that will allow them to see a solution in a way to a problem that they have not seen hitherto entrance into that conversation? What value am I contributing to that conversation? Because once you understand this and you have this at the back of the mind, it will naturally and authentically shape the nature of your contribution to that conversation. And I hope somebody's getting this. Because you really don't want to have, listen, you get into a boardroom, you get into a meeting, you're doing a presentation, you're having a pitch, you're having a business launch, you're on a panel session, you're delivering a keynote, you're doing a master class. It doesn't matter, you are selling, and it doesn't matter the kind of engagement that you have offered. What kind of mind shift perspective are you bringing to the table? What kind of clarity are you creating? Because if you're not creating clarity, if you're bringing further chaos to the world, then all of a sudden attention will shift to you and your recognition of your presence in that conversation will become one of chaos rather than clarity. Every time that you forget how to, or you do not plan how to deliver clarity to whatever message that you have, just know, because there's no middle ground, that you're creating chaos and confusion. And instead of being a sudden become the problem that we're trying to find a solution to. And that's a problem in itself. That's a real problem in itself. So, why is this important? I can't even begin to stress that insights shared at the right time. Listen to me, guys. Insights shared at the right time. How do I put this? Insights shared at the right time can reposition someone's perception of you permanently. Insights shared at the wrong time and in the wrong way can reposition somebody's perception of you also permanently. So it does not matter how valid your concern is, your inability to deliver clarity with it marks you as a chaotic person, somebody that does not have the capacity to have truly processed the issue that they're bringing to the table. In other words, you become a wealth-recant rather than someone of value. Do you understand what I'm saying? It is so serious. This is why you lose faith in kings. This is why your proposal is rejected. This is why you know in your heart of hearts that what you have to offer is good, but you still get turned off or turned back or outrightly rejected. You know that what you're bringing to the table, you know that what you're offering is something of value. You know it, but your inability to be able to deliver it with clarity, your inability to be able to speak and deliver it with a unique and strong and compelling perspective, your inability to be able to define the value of it shows that, number one, you've just shown. Listen to me. What you have done is show peripheral intelligence. You have shown the smallness of your mind, because all you focused in is what your view of it is. But you don't understand that if you truly even concerned about the state of that thing and what you want to bring forward, then you must be mindful of how it will be received and the receptibility of it. So please understand with me that the shift will not happen unless you have a deep enough understanding of the value that you're contributing, of the perspective that you're bringing, and the clarity that you're creating. The shift, that transformational shift from just words to impact, will not happen. Will not happen. Because this is how you convert access to influence. Oh God, I wish somebody got this the way that I do. This is how you convert access to influence. Access gets you invited. Access gets you to the table. Influence gets you heard. You don't just need to be at the table, you need to be heard. You don't just need to have a concern, you need to hear your partner hear you. You don't just need to have a presentation, in. Influence is what guarantees delivers the buy-in, not access. But without access, you can't have influence. So why stop at influence? Because with influence comes a lot of hope. But why should your hope be cut short? It's because you are ill prepared, lack the capacity, do not have the competency to be able to deliver influence. Why should your hope be cut short? Just because you got access. How frustrating is it that you sat at the table, but you didn't get to move from the outer room to the inner room? How frustrating is it? Can I go further? Can I run further? We're about, I'm trying to look at the time now. We're about 30 minutes past the top of the hour. Access may be guaranteed because of proximity. So there are certain people you can be around. There are certain situations you can be around. There are certain offices you can be around. There are certain deliverables you can be around. Certain initiatives that you can be around by way of proximity. And so access is permissible or permissive. But it would be remiss of you to think that just because you have access, you can have influence. Influence comes only by way of performance. We're talking of turning conversations into opportunities and capacity, or capacity and opportunities. Access may be granted because of proximity, but info given to you or influence is earned through performance. Influence is earned through performance. Influence rests on three. Every time you see a man of influence, a man of significance influence, every time that you've had any measure of Can you hear me? All right, so I'm trying to get back on. We're gonna be streaming live right back. We had a bit of technical stuff. And we heard, okay, I think we're back. I think we're back. You can hear me. Let me put this. You can hear me. I think we're back. All right, so we had a bit of a break. Kind of technical issue that came up, but it's been resolved. And so I'm back. All right, so I'm back. And nothing can stop this episode. We had issues last week, and really, really nothing can stop what we're doing. Let me do a check to be sure that in our different platforms. All right, everybody can see us in a different platform. If you're there, please send me a message. Let me know if you're there. We're talking about purposeful conversations, turning conversations into um, turning conversations into opportunities and capacity. All right, capacity and opportunity. Right, 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 right. Thank you so much. Thank you for the feedback. Thank you. Thank you. So we'll proceed. We'll proceed. So one of the things I said was before you enter into a conversation, before you enter into a space, before you enter into that network meeting or any interaction, please ask yourself these two questions: what value am I contributing? Can I contribute? Two, and let that shape what you're doing forward. Two, what perspective and unique perspective, differentiating perspective that enables the furtherance of whatever the core focus of the conversation is, or what you're trying to achieve is. What unique perspective can I offer? And number three, what clarity can I create? All right. So please and please and please and please, let's pay attention to that because intentional conversations compound. One thing opens the door to the next thing that opens to the next. So that's why it's intentionality and these things come as a result. Influence is earned by performance because intentional conversations compound. All right. So please note that an insight, I said before that an insight shared at the right time in the right way can reposition someone's perception of you permanently. There are times when I got into a meeting and because of one thing that I said in a particular way, the person that was sharing the meeting said, hey, we need this guy. We need this guy working on this project. We need this guy's insights on this. When was the last time he shared something and said, hey, I need to hear from you? It's so important, right? We're talking about purposeful conversations. One insight shared at the right time. So there's a right time and in the right way. There's a methodology based on emotional intelligence, competence, capacity, and all of that to deliver an insight will shape someone's perception and usually a stakeholder's perception permanently can just make them say this is a person of value. I've often said that you've heard it here that it's great to have value. It's greater to be able to communicate the value that you have. And your value exchange will happen on the premise of the value that is seen, is desired to be received from you, which is hinged on the value, your ability to communicate your value. And I hope that resonates soundly with someone. All right. So let's look at this. Many people want access. Everybody wants access. Many people want access. Many people want access. Want access to money, want access to opportunities, but not everybody is ready for influence. Not everybody is ready for influence. Not everybody is ready for influence. Many people want access, but not everybody is ready for influence. And you have to be, listen, there's a methodology to deliver influence. There's a methodology to influence because listen, access gets you invited. Influence gets you heard. I said that before we had the break. Access gets you invited. Influence gets you heard. And when you're heard, then decisions can be taken. Persuasion can happen. Negotiation can happen. Decisions are taken based on what is heard. We talked about the three things and the three pillars on which, and I think before then was when we talked about three pillars on which influence must rest for it to be delivered and for it to be sustainable. I talked about consistency. I talked about, I don't think I talked about it, right? I think we went off just before I got to that part. Okay, so help me. There's so much I'm trying to pack in here for you, all right? Access may be granted because of proximity. I remember talking about that, but influence will be because of performance. I talked about the importance of performance and all of that. All right. And this is necessary because, influence is delivered or rests on three pillars. Number one, consistency. Number two, credibility. Number three, results. Consistency comes from a deep understanding of, number one, what the vision is. Number two, the applicability of the strategies of your mission to be able to deliver that vision, and having a sustainable roadmap that gets you there, and having factored in the high and the low. So consistency is key. Every time that there are levels of consistency to what you do, then there's a chance that expectation and reality will be met, because disappointment is the negative variation between expectation and reality. Consistency bridges the gap between expectation and reality, because once you're consistent, then there can be an expectation. Consistency brings about an expectation, and because consistency delivers, the expectation is met. Hey, somebody give me an offering. Expectation is met. Credibility is so important because there must be a congruence of your words and what you've said, the experiences of the past, the occurrences of now, and the promise of the future that delivers the consistency by which you are now known. And so your credibility is that if you have said it, you will do it. Your credibility is that even in through rain and weather, through storm and billows, that because you have made a commitment, you will see it through. Credibility doesn't rest on fair weatherism. Credibility doesn't blow hot and cold. Credibility is, simply put, promise kept. Promise kept. And the promise kept is evidenced by the last pillar, which is results. So every time you're in your network, every time you're in your space, every time that you are in a community, every time you're functioning in that initiative, in that sphere, think, am I seen as being consistent? Am I delivering consistency? Am I seen as being credible? Do I deliver credibility? And what are my results saying on my behalf? It's not about your first, middle, or last name. In fact, your credibility and your result will seal your first, middle, and last name. I hope somebody's getting this. I hope somebody's getting this. I hope so. I really, really hope somebody's getting this. Consistency, credibility, results. If your name is mentioned somewhere, what does it trigger? Does it trigger confidence, or does it trigger caution? Does it trigger let's go, or does it trigger beware? Does your entrance, or when your name is mentioned when you are not there? Because that, my friend, is influence. And I personally have been so blessed with such and influence is a way to. The day that I realized I had such significant influence, it's just a recognition of the weight of the office that I have. That's where my humility comes from. Access will open doors. Value will keep the doors open and open more doors. Access will open doors. Value will keep the doors open. All right. Value will keep the doors open and open more doors. But let me say something. Let me say something that may shift our minds. Say something that we may struggle with. Let me say something that we may find very challenging. Networking without stewardship. Let me say this. No. Before I get there, let me say this. Note this. The ability to function in a network or in an ecosystem, and all you seek to do with that ecosystem is to take from it, take from that relationship. Take respect, not give respect. Take honor and not give honor. Take goodwill and not give goodwill. Take value and not give value. Let me say this. Let me sound this to people that I know. Take value and not give value. Take respect, demand respect, and show no respect. Take honor and not give honor. Let me say this. There's something called the stewardship principle in every ecosystem that you're in. We're talking about purposeful conversations. We're talking about turning your conversations. We're talking your engagements from into capacity and opportunity. Listen to this. Networking without stewardship becomes exploitation. And many people have exploited people they're in relationships with, exploited people they're working with, exploited people in the ecosystems and spaces that they're in, exploited people in associations and initiatives that they're in, exploited people. Every time you ask for something without giving it, you are exploiting that system. You're exploiting that system. Strong networks are not built on need, they're built on contribution. If all you're focused on is how, ask yourself, my friend, what are you contributing to that space? What are you contributing to that space? What are you contributing to that relationship? What are you contributing to that business? What are you contributing to that endeavor? What are you contributing to that project? What are you contributing to that mandate? What are you contributing to that assignment? What are you contributing to their lives? Because every time you ask of it, and it's okay if you don't ask, because but here you are asking for it, asking for respect, asking for honor, asking for this, asking for that, asking, making demands. This is who I am, this is what I want, this is what I want, asking for money, asking for opportunity. When was the last time that you created an opportunity for someone else? When was the last time that you showed someone levels of reverence and honor? When was the last time that you respected the person you're in a relationship? When was the last time that you had restraint with the words of your mouth in an encounter? When was the last time you showed honor in the space that you were in? Every time you ask for something without giving it, you are exploiting that situation. Every time that you seem to take out without imputing, you are exploiting. You are a fraud, you are a thief, and you're exploiting that situation. I'm sorry if I sound a bit hard, but this is why people are literally kicked out of relationships, kicked out of associations, kicked out of networking opportunities that were designed to bring you along the journey of your purpose. And so for me, this is very serious business. For me, this is very, very serious business, because strong networks and strong relationships, strong networks are not built on needs. Strong relationships, strong ecosystems are built on contribution. They're built on inputs. All you want to do is focus on your need. All you want to do is focus on how it affects you. No, sir. No, 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 no. Because if you and it stems to one thing, the ability to be able to have consideration of those in that ecosystem with a view to the greater vision of the ecosystem. It will restrain you, your utterances, the things that come from your heart, which are a reflection of, from your mouth, which, by the way, are a reflection of the state of your heart and what your ulterior motive is. Your ability. That's why some of you lack accountability. That's why some of you get infuriated when you are called to order, when things are pointed out to you, because you have a selfish demonic spirit in you that does not allow you to be accountable. Yet you determine accountability from others. You are evil. And this is how networks are destroyed. This is how relationships dry up, are killed, and don't go forward. This is how growth is stagnated and stifled. This is just how. Because I repeat, hear me and hear me real good. Ecosystems are built on contribution and not primarily on your need. Some people are only nice, and you have a track record, you have a list. They're only nice when they need something. They are sweet when they need you to do something. They are so nice. Their voice goes thin. They speak sweetly on the phone. They are gentle. They are calm. They approach you with such calmness when they need something. When they think there's nothing that they need from you, you see truly who they are, regardless of anything that they tell you. You can see who they are. That's why you tell people by how they treat people they don't need nothing from. It's a reflection of their character and their innate in it. Let wisdom be available to us in this time, in this season, because we have lacked it. Let wisdom be available to us so that we can begin to practically, instead of sabotage, look, God will give you stuff. And he will give you stuff with the greatest intention and the greatest predestination for that stuff. But if in your foolishness you sabotage the relationships, I was sharing with a group of people, a group of men on Friday, and they said the greatest resource, and I've said it here in many other a plethora of platforms of all time, that the greatest resource that God has given to humanity is the resource of relationship. And your relationships are supposed to deliver what is necessary for you to fulfill your purpose in life. However, if you sabotage those relationships because of your inability to have restraint, your carelessness, your pride, your lack of accountability, and your selfishness and small-mindedness, if you frustrate and sabotage that relationship, even heaven will not come down to you until you repent. Fix it. And your ability to fix it cannot be left to the gifts of other people to be gracious towards you. At some point, you will need to grow up and learn to take responsibility for your role in damaging the relationships that God has given to you. Because you know what? It doesn't matter how long people are gracious to you. It is only for a certain time. And when that rope is done, it does not matter when you come back to say, oh, this is not what I meant to do. This is not really what you are done. You burnt down the house. There's nothing but ashes. You can't build with ashes. Stop sabotaging yourself in the relationships that you have, whether it's business, whether it's your love relationships, whether it's your business relationships, whether it's your spiritual relationships. Stop sabotaging yourself. Let me tell you something. One thing is clear: a man without honor cannot give honor. A woman without respect cannot give respect. You're only to the value of the respect that you give. So your self-respect is worth nothing if you cannot show respect to the people in your life. It's hard truths. It's not what you find fancy, but I tell you something straight from the depths of my heart. I am fed up of people that lack the capacity and the restraints to show respect. It is in the worst of situations that I know who you are, if you have respect or otherwise. It's not when things are good. It's not when things are done. It's not when situations are solved for you. It's not when people bend over to help you. No, it is when you actually think you have the power. It's when you actually think that you are right and they are wrong. That's when your meanness, your cruelty, your lack of accountability, your spitefulness becomes something that is forbidden. It ought not to be so. It ought not to be so. It ought not to be so. Stop sabotaging the relationships that you have. Stop sabotaging the relationships that you have. Stop sabotaging the relationships that you have. You will never get the best from a relationship or a network that you have no respect for, that you consistently disrespect, while you are claiming to be a beacon, a reference of respect, where you cannot even be held to the standards that you hold for others. That's a level of hypocrisy that is stomach turning. You can't even be held to your own standards. What you expect from others, you can't even be held to it. There's a justification for why your own is like this, but you will kill for others. I think it comes to that point when the people around you are done. Truly, no quarrel, they are just done. So you will never get the best out of you never get the best out of the ecosystem that you're in. You never get the best out of the relationships that you're in. You'll never get the best out of the systems that you're in if you do not honor, if you do not show respect, if you're not contributing, if you're not seeking to build. The person that is seeking to build and the person that is seeking to destroy react differently in the same situation. So it's not about the situation. Check your motive, check your intent, check the state of your heart. Some people will only reach out when they need something. So people will only reach out when they need something. Strategic people reach out because they have something to add. It's called creating value. They have something to add. So some people reach out only when they need something. Strategic people reach out when they have something to add. The question is, do you reach out goodwill, respect, honor, courtesy? Do you show courtesy only when you need something? Or do you reach out when you have something to add? Ask yourself. That understanding of that position, that shift alone changes your perspective and your positioning. Because people will remember how you make them feel. People remember how you make them feel. They will not forget. You see, those words that you said, they will not forget. Somebody said, I read something yesterday. I was in a bit of reading yesterday. I read something and said, I may forgive, but it's the forgetting part I don't know. People will remember. They may let you go. They may forgive you. They may, yeah, it's okay, but they will never forget. You say something and you're likening and you're watering it down. You're making it. No. That's what you've said it to. In your wisdom, quote and unquote, you've justified it. What you don't know is that the person that you said it to has not forgotten it. You think it's not important. You think you don't need them. You think you can do without them. Whatever. You can switch relationships. You can kill the relationship. You can move to another community. You can do all that. One day, as long as there's God, there's sun, the moon, and there's this earth, one day, and what you've just written is a check that your future cannot cash. Because when it calls for it, you will not have what you need to pay that debt. So as much as people remember how you make them feel, they also remember when you make them feel better. They also remember when you make them feel better. No jokes. No jokes. And when you consistently make people feel better, you become indispensable. And it's true, but ways, when you consistently make people feel better, you become indispensable. You become indispensable. And how do you make feel? Why do you make people feel better? Think about it. What are the things that you do when your name comes up in strategic conversations? What is it associated with? Is it associated with execution? Is it associated with reliability? Is it associated with solutions? Is it associated with depth? Or the only thing that you have associated with your name is familiarity? And then let me even get into this spell of familiarity over familiarity. I really don't even want to go there. I really don't want to go there. I'm personally experiencing that right now, and I don't even want to talk about it from the place of personal pain. But hear me and hear me real good, guys. There will always be the difference between being known and being trusted. And trust is the real currency of networks. Trust is the real currency of networks. Trust is the real currency of networks. But let's bring this to a close, guys. This is one room. I want you to think of one relationship right now. I want you to think of one relationship right now. I want you to think of one room, one space, one conversation, one opportunity. And you have one relationship. Think of one relationship, and then you have this opportunity, just one opportunity, one conversation, one space in that relationship. And you have these three things: one room, one opportunity, one conversation. What do you think will happen if you stop asking, how can this help me? And you started asking, how can I increase the value of this space? How can I increase the value of this relationship? How can I increase the value of this business? How can I increase the value of this community? How can I increase the value of this nation? How can I increase the value of this church or whatever space that you're in? Because this is how capacity expands. So much that I've said tonight. Because your value, your network is not your net worth. I know that we heard this growing up, man. Your network is your network. And kudos to those that said, they didn't say it from a place of error. They just said it from a place of limited, from a place of perspective. But hear me, let me tell you something tonight. Your network doesn't determine your net worth. The value that you leverage in your network determines your net worth. So what value are you leveraging in that relationship? What value are you leveraging in that business? What value are you leveraging in the space that you're in? Purposeful networks don't happen by accident. Purposeful relationships don't happen by accident. Purposeful spaces don't happen by accident. You've got to build it deliberately. Conversation by conversation, contribution by contribution, reputation by reputation. Don't be in a hurry to paint how pious you are and how this and that you are. Focus on how you can truly build rather than living to the illusion of the lie that you're telling yourself. Because value is not illusional, value is tangible, measure that can be felt. And if you're living on some past glory, you're the biggest joker of them all. Because it's not about who you were, it's about who you are. And every time that you're not delivering value, that's who you are at that time. Expand your value, gentlemen and ladies. Because truth is said, when your value is undeniable, your opportunities become unavoidable. And this is, I told you it was going to be a very explosive episode, because this is really what the conversation about turning conversations into capacity and opportunities is about. This is how you move from impact, from alignment to impact through purposeful conversations. Watch your mouth. Guard your words. Don't just show up unprepared. Don't just show up with lack of consideration for yourself and for the entities, to the systems that you're going into. Don't just show up, as they say, anyhow. Listen to me. There's so much that the world has for you. There's so much your relationships have for you. There's so much that everything. Don't be the one that gets in the way of you for you to become. Truly commit to be. Okay, so we had a bit of a forgive me again. We had a bit of a network issue, and then but guess what? It's been an amazing time sharing so much value. The third episode of this series, from alignment to impact. And if you have a great time, please do share your thoughts with me. Send me a message, reply to the comment section. I can't read all the comments right now, but reply to the comment section on of this on whatever platform that you're watching, whether it's on YouTube or Facebook, and I will respond to you and also share more thoughts and things of God. Next Sunday, we're going to move to the fourth episode of this series, and I'm going to be sharing with you a lot of what making announcements in the course of the week. All right. So thank you so much for joining us. It's been my honor to serve you. This was something heartfelt, heart deep for me, and I really, really hope that the message resonates with your friend. Tell them to watch it. Hold discussions round about it. Let's keep this conversation from conversation to conversation, from engagement to engagement. You can truly deliver significant impact and influence in your sphere and in your corner of the world. All right. Have a great time and see you next Sunday. I'll be right here in the month of March by the grace of God. And as my mother would say, always say, bye for now.